or even just connecting to it. Even if it is a family culture or a national culture, it is very easy to forget about your culture. Most people will take it at face value and not know what their culture even is about. As someone who did not care for a culture too much when I was younger, I can see why so many people don't think too much about it or realize that they are just doing the bare minimum or nothing at all. Throughout the speech, I will be talking about the importance of culture and why you should stay connected to it. And if you are not connected, then you will see why you should. Now that you understand what we will be talking about, I should fill you in on what culture is. Let's start with what culture truly is and what it means. Culture is a shared belief, values, customs, behaviors, and specific items that characterize a group or society. Culture is like an identity for us. It shapes us who we are. It gives us a sense of belonging onto this world. It also provides us with common set of values such as beliefs and behaviors that people do/follow. When your parents tell you to be respectful to everybody, or when your family doesn't allow you to drink and smoke because it could kill you, that is considered family culture. They enforce a belief onto you, and there's a very high chance that their own parents enforce these same beliefs onto them, and so on. Religion is very connected to culture, though. Although they are not considered the same, religion does have a bunch of beliefs and practices. Because of this, many cultures and families and traditions end up being enforced and being made to practice certain religions. Even though cultures share common values and beliefs, these can still be extremely different from one another. The difference in culture. As someone who grew up with a Mexican culture due to family, yet experienced an American culture growing up in the United States, I can tell you that culture is very different, even though they all have values and beliefs. I will be using Mexican culture and American culture to help you better understand what I mean by. In a Mexican culture, family and a community is everything for a Mexican. Everyone is highly respectful towards one another because this is how they were raised. Mexico is also very well known for their lively and colorful celebrations. They do such as Dia de los Muertos, Day of the Dead, Grito de Dolores, Cry of Dolores, and Cinco de Mayo, the 5th of May. All these are very colorful with bright outfits of people dancing and food and just celebrating in general. They are also a form of respect for the families that died and the dead who fought for Mexico's independence. In an American culture, there is the American dream, where a single person tries to achieve independence, personal freedom, and the idea that a person can achieve success on their own. The United States can also appear much more formal in professional settings, such as in a religious place like a church, or rules/laws in most locations. Yet, even in both cultures, they are both nations where the belief of hard work is one of the most important things you could do. They are both very patriotic for their countries. Both are very strong when it comes to nationality, identity, and have pride for their country. Because of this, they do some of the biggest festivals for their holidays. Now that you understand how important culture could be to countries, I will tell you why culture is just as important to you. Being part of a culture adds a sense of belonging to this world. Knowing your culture can help you understand where you come from and the history of where your home went through and what it was like before you were even born. When I learned about Grito de Dolores, Cry of Dolores, and Cinco de Mayo, the 5th of May, from pure curiosity about my nationality, I learned that they were connected, and I learned why they were so huge for Mexico. Grito de Dolores was the first start of Mexico fighting back against Spain for their own independence, and Cinco de Mayo was the resilience of Mexico had against France, besting one of the greatest armies at the time. It allows you to be more patriotic for the country you are from, and it allows you to understand why Sundays are so important. for your country. It also makes you understand certain significant things about your country. For example, music in Mexico almost always has a story to it. Once you learn the story behind these stories, it becomes more meaningful and gives you an even better understanding about the culture. This includes festivals and the meaning behind them. Having a culture can also give you a framework for your life, which can help make life a little bit easier. Even in rough times, people who shared a culture could rely on one another because they were basically a community. For example, during the Great Depression in the United States, there were a large amount of cultures that would form just to help each other out throughout the roughest points in these people's lives. In conclusion, culture is very important and should be highly recommended to maintain your culture alive and to stay connected to it, even if it is your family's culture or nationality's culture. Next time you think about culture not being important, just remember the culture can change your entire perspective on life, and it will allow your nationality and heritage to continue throughout history. Thank you very much.
Good job.